Hello, beautiful, benevolent beings. I hope that all is well with you. I'm actually super excited to film today. Most importantly, in case this is your first time here today, my name is Danajhadavis. Here on this channel, we speak about an abundance of things from personal health, wellness, wombs, the divine feminine, money manifestation magic, everything pretty much. Anything that spirit says you need to speak about, I get up here and I record a video about. So I'm actually super excited to record today's video for a couple of reasons. One, because it's been so long since I've actually sat down in front of a camera. Your girl was going through a fair amount of ish over the past month. She made it through. But the end of retrograde into the start of Scorpio season, it was a lot. I know y'all were feeling it. It was a lot. And so I pretty much was just spending a lot of the time doing some deep shedding, some deep shadow work, a lot of rest, a lot of stillness, a lot of tears, like literally that much. And really just editing old videos that I have in the vault that are on their way to you. So yes, I appreciate your patience. But so today we are having the pleasure of speaking about moon cycles. When I say moon cycles, I don't mean necessarily full moons, waxing gibbsness, waning, etc. I mean the time of the month that we us wild women experience, where we become full, where our underwears become bloody, and we release. I'm talking about our periods. Now, I personally have disregarded the word period. I did include it here in the title just because that is a vernacular that most of us are familiar with, but I personally do not use that word anymore just because, for one, I feel like that it was a word that was developed throughout time to kind of put a stop or put a limit to that which we feel every single month during that time, that which we are releasing every single month during that time. It is a term to me that kind of suppresses one of the most powerful tools that I have access to in my everyday waking. And y'all know what that is if you've been watching my videos. That's my womb. And also outside of that too, it just feels much more of an honor to say my moon cycle, just because as a wild woman, just like you yourself who is watching this that may identify as a wild woman, we have so much more in common with Mother Moon, Mama Moon than we actually realize. So the first thing that I want to go over with you guys is why even pay attention? Why track your moon cycle? Why even care? There are just so many health benefits from paying attention to that time of the month. One, by paying attention to your time of the month and giving yourself that experience to really just listen to your womb space, to really just pay attention to how you're feeling, to pay attention to even the color of your blood, to be able to know like, okay, maybe I need more rest, or maybe I need to be more active. It creates a more harmonious relationship to your moon, to your body, to your womb. And if you are someone who actually struggles with a lot of PMS symptoms or heavy bleeding or like extremely long cycles, honing in on your individual moon cycle can really help you in so many ways to regulate that, to kind of aid yourself through those spaces, to make it more manageable. Honestly, this is just like me personally. I may sound extremely weird to most of you, but I absolutely love every freaking time I get the opportunity to bleed. Like, I love it. My cycle is only 4 days, And I'm telling you, by like day 3, I'm already sad because I know I'm starting to dry up, and I know I have pretty much like one day where it's like spotty and that's it. But I love it. I love being able to just give myself that extra rest, give myself those extra comfort meals, give my body that extra just flexibility and flow that it needs during that time, you know? And I really do give myself all of the things I just mentioned when I'm not bleeding. It's just an extra reason to be even more gentle with my self-care. So yes, there are just so many reasons as to why you should even care. Now, I recommend tracking your cycle maybe through an app, maybe through a journal. You know, you can create your very own yoni journal or your very own moon cycle journal. I mean, there are endless options when it comes to tracking and when it comes to how. I will, in a later video, be going into basically a day in the life when I am bleeding. I will include in that video prompts and different ways that I track my cycle. I definitely do use an app, but I also use a monthly moon cycle journal that I specifically keep for when I am bleeding. So stay tuned, and also just let me know if that sounds of interest to you. So the first cycle that I would like to talk about is the white moon cycle. Now, my friends, if you are a white moon cycle, you typically bleed during the new moon and you ovulate during the full moon. Now, what that means for you is that you, my friend, correlate with the aspects that make up the new moon. Now, what do we as beings know about the new moon? The new moon is a wonderful time for all of us to manifest. It is a wonderful time for all of us to plant new seeds. It is a wonderful time for us to water those seeds. It's not necessarily the time where we get out and we tell everyone around us like, hey, I just planted this seed, or like, hey, come and look at everything that I did. It is a time where we go within. It is a time where we really allow ourselves to be super still. That can mean that you are in a space of introspection. That could mean that you are in a space of deep self-care. Our white moon goddesses are our mothers. They are our teachers. They're our mentors. They are giving themselves all of that divine feminine essence, all of that maternal essence to their vessel. Generally speaking, during the new moon, you will have a lot more energy. You will feel a lot more activated and embodied. You still will 9 times out of 10 lean more towards the introspective side of things, but at the same time, you will have more energy. Think about having just more energy to water those seeds. And during the full moon, when you ovulate in that kind of 2-week-ish frame, you may end up finding yourself needing to actually rest a bit more. Okay, so moving on, our next cycle is the red moon cycle. So if you, my friend watching, are a red moon goddess, just a little tidbit, I'm a red moon goddess. So shout out to all the red moon goddesses out here. Hello. If you are a red moon goddess, that means, my friend, you bleed with the full moon and you ovulate with the new moon. Now, I'm going to be speaking a little bit more from personal experience with this one, just because that is what I currently have been bleeding with for the past couple of months now. And yes, prior to, I definitely was on the white moon cycle. It is perfectly normal to teeter back and forth. We'll kind of get into that a little bit later. Our red moon goddesses, if you are a red moon goddess, that simply means that you get so much energy during the full moon and you feel a lot more drowsy, maybe just needing a lot more rest, needing to be just a lot more introspective and calm and still during the new moon. I know personally, even though new moons for the majority of the collective is a time for, like I said before, planting seeds, watering them, etc., that is actually my time for rest. My body is on a rhythm and a cycle where, because I'm bleeding in the way that I am, that I am so exhausted during the new moon. I, generally speaking, have been treating these full moons as more so opportunities to manifest, because that is where I just feel so primal and embodied and just So outside of that, if you are a red moon goddess, that can mean that you are a healer. That can mean that you are a medicine woman. That can mean that you are directly in charge of a cause or several causes, or on a path that is leading you to guide others, that is leading you to be activated through that womb space, that is leading you to use your gifts to spread the word, to spread the gospel, to spread knowledge. And there's no shocker that I myself am in a space where I'm guiding many people through many different aspects and avenues. I have my YouTube channel, I have my personal guidance messages that you can book, link in the description box. I share a whole bunch of different content where I really am making sure to live and be authentic and activated through my womb space, through my throat chakra, through my heart chakra, on all my social networks. I mean, there's no shocker that I'm in that space where I'm being called to guide, and not just one person, not just a human being, but also animals as well. I mean, the list can go on and on. There is no limitations. There's no limitations with either cycle, but there's definitely no limitations when it comes to who and how you can be a guide. And most importantly, what you should know is, even if you do find yourself moving towards the red moon and you're unsure as to what you're being called for or what you're being asked of, it is something that will definitely just kind of happen, you know. And it may take a lot longer for you to spend in that white moon cycle. It may take a little bit of back and forth too, and that is perfectly fine. Moving on to our next moon cycle. Our next moon cycle is going to be the pink moon cycle. So my pink moon goddesses, this is for you. Now, I know you may be sitting here thinking like, wait a minute, I don't bleed with the new moon, and I damn sure don't happen to bleed with the full moon. So what does that mean? Well, that could potentially mean that you, my friend, bleed when the moon is waxing. And what does it mean when the moon is waxing? That means it is going from a new moon into a full moon cycle. So it is literally going from being invisible to our naked eye to being extremely full, vibrant, and visible to our eye. That could mean that you are in a transition period, my friend, that you potentially are on this pink moon cycle because you have been going through maybe a lot of shadow work in the past couple of months or past couple of years. You've been going through a lot of shedding. You've been going through a lot of reparenting. You've been going through healing your divine feminine on your white moon cycle. And God, your higher self, as well as the goddesses and gods that guide you up above, are preparing you for your season of taking the lead, taking center stage, becoming a guide to others. That pretty much means that you bleed when the moon is waxing and that you ovulate when the moon is waning. Now, last but certainly not least, our final moon cycle is the purple moon cycle. Now, that is for my purple moon goddesses who tend to bleed when the moon is, you guessed it, waning, and ovulate when the moon is waxing. So yes, if you are bleeding on a purple moon cycle, you may also be in a transitional phase. It will look a little bit different from our pink moon goddesses, and that is just simply because of the astrological as well as cosmic downloads that occur during that time period. Everything that is happening all around us is reflected within us when the moon is going from an intense period of being full, and it is waning and going into being new again. So your transitional period may actually be that perhaps maybe you were in a period of being front and center and being very active and being very embodied in your purpose and embodied in your desires, embodied in your essence. And now it's time for you to give just a little bit more of all of that beautiful cosmic energy, all of that beautiful red blood and womb energy that you've been pushing out into everyone around you, into all of the spaces around you. Give it back to yourself. Give it back to your womb. So you may find that if you were in a purple moon cycle, that you may need to rest more, that you may need to retreat more, and that you may just need to be more still. So that pretty much wraps up the 4 moon cycles. Now, just because I have named 4 at the moment, it is not something that is set in stone at all. You will, throughout your lifetime, bounce back and forth and back and forth. You may have months where it's consistently in one cycle. You may have years where you're consistently in a white moon cycle, and then finally you get the chance where you are just the front and center, calling the shots, and you are a red moon. You may not become a red moon goddess until much later in your life. And I just want to let you know that whatever cycle you are bleeding on, please honor it. Please honor your yoni. Please honor your womb space. Do not be too eager to rush back to one. If you find that, maybe you felt more at home at one space versus the other, we always move and evolve in cycles. We as women bleed in cycles. And so I guarantee that there is something, no matter what cycle you align with, you are meant to learn while in that cycle. And there is something for you to walk away with each and every cycle. So yes, once again, kind of yo-yoing back and forth is completely normal, okay? Finally, before we end this video, I just want to plug an app that I absolutely love to use during my time of the month, my moon cycle, and that is the app Stardust. You can purchase the app Stardust from the App Store via iOS. I will check to see if it's available for Android. What I absolutely love about Stardust is how personalized it feels. Like, you enter your data, you enter when you bleed and all of that. And obviously, like most apps out there, it tells you when you ovulate, but it also breaks down the cycle that you are bleeding on. So it will tell you if you are a red moon, if you're a white moon. There's a whole bunch that you can do to personalize your time of the month, from including very specific cravings that you're experiencing during that time of the month, even the type of flow that you're having. So whether you are kind of just doing a little bit of spotting, whether it's a heavy flow, whether it's a light flow, I mean, it just gets everywhere in between. And I do just want to let y'all know that this video is not sponsored. I just personally love the app, and I found that through having other apps throughout the years that it is the most personalized, it is the most fun one. I mean, I just happen to love the aesthetic and also the ease of it. Not only is it aesthetically pleasing to my beautiful Taurus rising self, but it is also something that is not so caught up in the rhythm of trying to look cool that is just not at all accessible. So I would say definitely, if you feel called, to check out the app Stardust. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to sit through this video. I just so appreciate each and every one of you, whether you are a purple, a pink, a blue, a red, a rainbow goddess. You are important and you matter. Your womb matters. So please, the next time that you get the opportunity to believe, connect to her, say thank you, say what do you need from me, and just see what she says. Be open to it. All right, lovelies, thank you guys so much for just sticking it through, and I look forward to seeing you guys later. Bye.